Okay, hey, welcome back. I got a request from my auntie, actually. Shout out to my auntie Michelle, she's always commenting. Kind of like a pantry essentials video, like things that I think you need to have. I think that's a really good idea. Kind of the bare minimum things you would need to make decent food. Things you should always have in your pantry. So yeah, let's get started. What I hear a lot, and maybe this is just the people I hang out with, is they think of cooking as this big task and that they need to buy all these ingredients to make one thing. And I think that is kind of the flaw of how people look at food, is they'll find one recipe they want to do and they'll buy the 15 ingredients, and maybe it's like medium complicated too, where they buy all these ingredients and then they're left with these ingredients they don't know what to do with. They're not gonna eat that dish every day. So they're like, oh, cooking is this huge undertaking. You have to buy all these things, blah, blah, blah. But your pantry is kind of your toolbox. Keeping that stocked and keeping tools in your toolbox is super important. So the bare minimum stuff you need is, I think, oil, salt, another type of fat, some vinegar, some aromatics, and some spices. So I'll talk about a little bit what I use and why I use them. You can kind of use whatever you want. You don't have to use the same things as I do, as long as you understand why I have them. You want to switch them out for other things. Oils, I always keep 2 types of oil. A lot of the cooking I do is pretty heavily Asian influenced, so for my flavoring oil, I'll use sesame oil, but I know a lot of people do prefer olive oil because they connect a little bit more with Italian food. With oils, like a sesame oil or an olive oil has a low smoke point. So if you're wanting to like sear meat in olive oil or cook something at a high heat, the oil will start to smoke and you can kind of burn the flavor, and then it will also release carcinogens into the air, which are super bad for you. You want one oil that has a high smoke point, which is like a neutral oil, canola oil, sunflower oil, peanut oil. If you're doing something like deep frying or even just a shallow fry, you want a high smoke point oil. Canola oil I always keep, and a sesame oil I always keep. You can have a canola oil and a olive oil, it's totally up to you. If you ever forget what the smoke points are, or if you want to see a list of them, just Google smoke points of oil. The other fat that I always keep, and this one's just for flavor preference, is I always keep butter. It's fat and it's also milk fat. I just like having it for bread and stuff like that. Oil just doesn't hit the same on bread. You kind of need butter, so I always keep butter as well. I keep 2 types of salts. Always sea salt or kosher salt. The only salt I would say don't ever use is iodine, like table salt. A fine sea salt, and I use this for like seasoning sauces and stuff. This isn't a great salt for like seasoning vegetables and stuff because it's kind of sticks to itself, it's so fine. And then this is a more premium salt. This stuff's a little bit expensive, but well worth it, I think. And this I'll use for seasoning directly on food. This is a Malden sea salt, and you can see that they like flake it, which is really nice. It actually has like, you can see, oh shit. I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but you can see it's like a little pyramid. You can actually buy this stuff smoked as well, which is really nice. Yeah, so I always have like a finishing salt and like, you know, a bulk salt that I can go through quite a bit of, which is this. Seasoning soups and sauces and stuff like that. So next thing I would say after salt is spices. Spices are kind of the fun one because it's like basically all preference based. And they're really cheap. It's like a pretty low cost thing to like start stocking your pantry with. I don't use a ton. Star anise, Szechuan peppercorn. I always have bay leaves. I always have a couple dried herbs, thyme, basil. I would say when you're going to the grocery store getting your weekly groceries, go to the bulk section and fill up a little bag and grab $2 worth of a different spice, and it's nice. Then you start to build up your pantry and you have all these spices that you can learn to use. That's all preference. So buy a new one, taste it on its own, and kind of try and distinguish where you would like it, if you like it, how you would use it. And if you don't know how to use it, again, we all have access to Google, so just Google like, how do I use paprika or whatever. So acid. I talk about acid a lot in the understanding flavor video and kind of how to use all these ingredients. So if you haven't seen that, go check it out. Acid you can use vinegar or citrus. Personally, I like to have each because I like the fruitiness of citrus sometimes, but I need vinegar for making vinaigrettes, dressings, and stuff like that. So I'll always have both, but you can absolutely just use one. If you're just going like bare minimum and you just want to use lemon juice or you just want to use white wine vinegar or whatever. But I would say you need some sort of acid to cook. $3 for a thing of vinegar. It's not a huge investment. Aromatics next. So I always make sure that I have my 3 essentials, which are onions, garlic, and ginger. Those things are always stocked in my fridge, no matter what. That is like the base of most dishes. Most of my cooking, maybe not ginger is in every type of cooking, but onions and garlic are in every cuisine worldwide. So it's always good to have those things. They're also so cheap. So make sure you always have those in your fridge. If you have basically all of those ingredients, then all you need is one other thing. You only need to go buy broccoli or noodles or steak or whatever. If you have all of those, you can absolutely make some like very nice food. Oh yeah, I would also say that you should have a sweetener. So sweeteners come in all different types of forms. You can have maple syrup, a honey, a white sugar, a brown sugar, amber sugar, cane sugar, but something to sweeten. Again, that goes back to balancing things. You just want to be able to have all the tools to balance things. So definitely having a sweetener is important. The cheapest is white sugar. It's obviously refined and it's not the greatest for you, so I always make sure that I have some honey as well, especially raw honey. It's supposed to be healthier for you, but who knows if that's true. Another thing I always like to have is good quality soy sauce. Again, this is just kind of for the style of food that I do. This isn't an essential for everyone, but this is an essential for me. If I don't have soy sauce, I will lose my fucking mind every time. So I always make sure that I have this, but again, if your style of food is not my style of food, you don't need to have that. But this is like basically a non-negotiable for me. That's it. I mean, it doesn't hurt to have a good loaf of bread around. I think that's pretty much it. Those are like all the things that I really think that you need to always have to make good food. Other than that, then you're talking about specialty ingredients. Those are the things I think everyone should have. It's a pretty small investment. I think you could get all of that stuff probably for $20, and then like you have a well-stocked tool kit. So let's say you're starting, you never cook, you've been Uber Eating for 2 years, and you're like, fuck, I need to start cooking. Go get those ingredients before you start looking at recipes. And then it doesn't feel like a huge undertaking when you're looking at these recipes being like, okay, well, I don't have oil, I don't have any of the essentials. But if you have these essentials, it'll seem like a smaller mountain to climb. And then you have some tools to start messing around on your own and start trying your own dishes. Thank you to my auntie for asking for this video. I think it's actually super beneficial. Let me know if you guys think it's beneficial. And if not, let me know too. Leave me a nasty comment. And if you know anyone who's interested in food at all, your partner or whoever, just feel free to point them in the direction of this channel and let them know, like, I know this guy, or I heard about this guy who makes YouTube videos. All I'm trying to do is get people engaged in cooking. If you want to know about pots, pans, knives, equipment, stuff like that, things that are really specific to your style of cooking, just let me know and I will absolutely make a video about it. In the meantime, I will see you guys on Sunday. Thanks for watching. Peace.